with Gamer Leaf, the podcast in which one man strives to level up his geekhood and helping you do the same, one battle at a time. Now, let's get geeky with Gamer Leaf.
Welcome to Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf. Tonight we're lucky enough to have on the creator and mastermind behind Swerve, the connection strategy game, which is bringing Friday game night back. Simple rules, complex strategy, gameplay, zigzag your way to victory, the new classic family game. And we're like I said before, we're lucky enough to have on the creator and mastermind behind this great game, Zach. Is that correct? Is that how you fit into line with Swerve, the connection strategy game, Zach?
Yep. Yes, sir.
Awesome. Now, before we get into that, let's go ahead and rewind if we could. We don't have to go back very far, of course, unless you were born into tabletop board gaming. But how did you get into playing tabletop board games and what?
Well, just as a young kid, my mom and we used to play Connect 4 all the time. So I'm not a big themed game, but a lot of like Connect 4, Stratego, Battleship, like a lot of the 2-player, 4-player strategy games I was always playing. And then just from there, just keep on doing it. Yep.
Okay, so minus Swerve, the connection strategy game, currently, do you have a favorite game besides that? If my audience, if I let you pick your favorite game, your current game, or your game that you made, my audience might have me run out in the street and hung. So, besides that, do you have a favorite current game?
Well, I would say my all-time favorite is Connect 4. I don't know, it's just the classic, and it's so simple, but yeah, there's so many different strategies. So I would say that's my favorite game of all time, Connect 4.
Cool. And what color are you usually?
Oh, always red.
Always red. What's the strategy behind that, or is there one?
No, I just like red better than black. So.
Well, there you go. Whatever works. That's what they say. Awesome. So the word on the street is you have a new game on Kickstarter. What can you tell us about it, Zach?
Yep. So it's Swerve. You guys heard a little bit about it before. It's a connection strategy game. So basically all the players, there's 4 players. You start in the goal opposite of your own, and then every player tries to move back into their own colored goal. So everyone's crossing the middle at the same time. It gets really crazy. There's all these different cards that tell you how to move and stuff like that. So it's a sequential strategy game. So it's not when you get the good cards, or if you roll the dice really well. It's just when you use them. So you could try to use all your good cards at the beginning, try to get a big head start, or you could save them for the end and try to sneak your way to victory kind of thing. So it's a pretty interesting strategy game.
Now, does everybody get the same exact cards, or how does that work?
Yeah, so each player has the same deck of cards. There's 30 cards, and there's like just the regular moves where you just move your player. There's defense moves where you can move somebody else. So if they're blocking your path, you can move them backwards kind of thing. And then there's a replace move where you can move your piece into an opponent's occupied piece and then move them back. So it's like an attack and a defend kind of at the same time.
Okay, when I was watching the video, it said something about the complex part is you're moving all the pieces at the same time. How's that work?
Right. So there's little white connection lines. So you have to move all of your pegs as a family. So you can't just take one and move it all the way across the board. There has to be a connection line between all 15 of your pieces throughout the whole game. So like I said in my video, you can have them really bunched up, or you can have them kind of snake-like. So if you want to keep your options open, you have them snake-like, so you can either go left or right, if somebody blocks you off kind of thing.
Okay, interesting. And they have a red, so I guess you're red in this game as well, probably?
Yeah, of course.
Cool. Awesome. So how long have you been working on this game?
It actually started as a completely different product back in September. Um, it started as like a 3D puzzle, and then it kind of sort of just evolved into this game. The exact format it's in has been since December, so a good 4 months.
Okay, so it sounds like during play testing you had to scrap. It sounds like you even changed what you were doing with it initially. What did it look like before?
So at first it was a completely different product. Like I was saying, it was a cubed 3D kind of puzzle kind of game, and actually I have a 3D printer, so I print all my prototypes, and it wasn't working. So then it turned into a pyramid game. So essentially the same rules as it is now, just as a pyramid shape. And then that didn't end up working because of various reasons. So then eventually I flattened it out, and it worked a lot better. It flattened out, and yeah, just went from there, tweaking the rules little by little after each play, and finally arrived at Swerve how it is now.
Okay, so did you have a lot of play testers helping you figure it out, or how'd that go?
Yeah, basically, just mainly just my friends and family. I went to some uh, schools and had some kids tested as well. Um, yeah, and I was getting great feedback on it, and yeah, just kept on changing and kept on getting better every time with each round of feedback. I'll say.
So how did you know when it was ready to go to Kickstarter, or how did you know it was done?
Oh, that's a good question. It just felt, I don't know, it just felt right, I guess, because over the all the evolutions, it seemed like, oh, there's something missing there, there's something missing there, but I don't know, I've went off the feeling of it, and it just felt ready. It felt like a real game, um, and after play testing it like this, there wasn't much feedback on how to change it. Um, all the changes were making it more complex at this point, and I wanted it to be as simple as possible. So I said, okay, I think it's ready. It can't be simpler, and I don't want it to be more complex. So that's how I felt it was ready.
Okay, awesome. So what would you say the thing you're most proud about when it comes to Swerve, the connection strategy board game is?
The underlying rule that you just have to move as a family kind of thing. So you have to move all your pegs as one. Because at first, when I had it as like a pyramid shaped board game, I thought the pyramid shape was its differentiating factor. But a lot of people who were playing it were like, no, I've never really played a game with these rules that I have to move as one. So I think I don't know where I came up with that, but I really like that part of the game. Makes it interesting.
Yeah, that sounds. Yeah, I'd never heard of that before. So yeah, that's pretty cool that you were able to come up with that. And did it look like that before when it was the pyramid and the other one? Was it still that same rule set where everybody had to, all the pieces had to be connected?
Yeah, except so all the pieces had to be connected, but there was no like connection lines between them because it was like it was kind of like a pegboard in a sense so that's how the pegs would stay into the pyramid. So there's no connection lines, so it would get really confusing.
Well, yeah, I want to say it reminds me kind of like Chinese checkers.
Yeah, I've gotten that a good amount. But in Chinese checkers, you have to jump over the opponents. I guess yeah, it is similar. You have to because you have to get to the other side, and everyone's trying to get to the other side, kind of thing.
So per se, me and you sat down to play this game, Zach, Swerve the Connection strategy board game. How would that look? Wait, how would it sound? This is a podcast after all.
How did it look and sound? It's hmm.
Or how does play go down? Like, what would our turns look like?
It's a highly strategic game, like I've said before. So it's a lot of thinking between each move. It's a lot of kind of like chess, where you have to think three moves ahead of the other person. Um, so it's a lot like that. It's a lot of Yeah, I guess it would just I would say it's mostly a silent game until you start bringing out the wild cards. Then it gets a little crazy, and people there starts to be some alliances. Not really, but it's like, you replaced me or you defended me there, so I'm gonna defend him. And at the end of the game, what's cool is if one person is winning, the other three people can band together and try to stay in the game by defending that the person who's in the lead. So it does become like a community game at the end, towards the end, where you know all three of you are trying to not let the leader win, but you're also planning for your victory at the same time. So it gets pretty complex at that part.
Cool. Yeah, that sounds awesome. I suffer from analysis paralysis. It takes me forever to figure out what I want to do on my turn or whatnot, depending. Will my friends or family hate me more when I play Swerve, the connection strategy board game?
Yes.
Oh boy. Oh boy. Yeah. So I go through and I'll have 30 cards. From what you said before, does every player have 30 cards to look through and decide what they're going to do, or do you just split those amongst the 4 players?
No, right. So everybody has 30 cards. So there is. I wanted to minimize luck, and that's why each player has the same cards. But there is a little bit of chance because every player has 5 cards in their hand at all time. So you could potentially pick up all the good cards at the beginning, but so then you have to be really offensive at the beginning, or you could pick up crappy cards, so then you have to play a different strategy. So it's really with the cards you're dealt at the beginning determines what kind of strategy you want to play with.
Okay, so you don't pick the 5 cards you start with. You have the deck of 30, but you only get 5 of those at first. Is that correct?
Right, all right. So you shuffle it up and then just pick the top 5 kind of thing.
Oh, okay, awesome. Awesome. So let's see here. Yeah, so yeah, and you said it gets crazy when there's wild cards. What does that look like? What's a wild look like?
So there's a couple of different wilds. One's a swap, so you can swap cards with another player. And what's funny about this is when people first play it, if they don't know there's a swap in there, when they pick up a good card, they'll do a little dance or make a noise. Ooh, I got this best card. But you got to watch out because then if you have a swap in your hand and you're paying attention to that, you're going to want to swap with that one with the person who has the good card or whatever. So it gets interesting with that.
And going along with that, would I be able to look at their cards? Like if I play a swap card, can I look and see what they got? Or
Yep. So you get to look in their hand and you take one of their cards and then you give them, probably your worst card. And then you get to put one down after that as well.
oh, okay, cool. And so it says move 1 or move 2. How does that work? Let's see here, because don't I have to move them all at the same time, or how does that work exactly?
Right. So you don't move them all at the same time. There always has to be they always have to be connected via the white connection line. So when you move one, you're just moving one. It can go it can go like kind of across the board as long as you're staying within the connection lines.
Oh, okay, so I think I get it. So just as long as they're connected by one of the whites, so I could go any direction as long as it's still going to be connected to one. Is that correct?
Right. It's correct.
Okay, awesome. And does it have to be 4 players, or can I do a 2 or a 3-player game, or how does that work?
It works the best with 4-player. You can do a 2-player in a couple different ways where you kind of make the board smaller. So the last 2 rows you delete those, but it's the best with 4 players. There's nothing better than that.
Oh, okay, awesome. That's pretty cool. So yeah, so that's awesome. And you said you've played with at different schools and whatnot. What did the kids think about it, and what age groups did you have play it?
So I mainly went to one elementary school, one middle school, one high school. Actually, all the schools I attended. The elementary school kids seemed to like it the most. I don't know. They just were the most excited. I think the high school kids were kind of just like, I want to be on my phone kind of thing.
But yeah, in your video, you talked about getting people off their phones and interacting with each other. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. I think it's something that we need to do, and it feels good when you're doing it because I know my friends have gotten closer through this. Like we play not just Swerve, but we've been playing a lot of board games, a lot more board games at least nowadays. It seems ever since I started making this, so it's been good for us.
So have you played more than just the Connect Four and chess, or what all have you guys been playing? You're talking playing more games.
Yeah, we've been playing Risk a lot, Risk, and then Game of Thrones Risk to switch it up a bit.
Okay, so are you able to? I don't know if you want to divulge that on the internet or whatnot, but what kind of strategy do you do when you play Risk?
Oh, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I can tell, but I do try to make alliances, and just hold out till the very end. Um, I mean, it all depends where you get put at the placement at the start of the game, but I mean, ideally, I like to go for America, but wherever I'm most concentrated, I just put all my people and try to get that continent first because you got to get the content bonus.
For sure, for sure. I like to. My favorites are either like Australia or South America. North America would be my third, I think, and then maybe Africa. But my son, he's 15. He usually goes straight for Asia, and then he ends up blowing me out of the water. I don't know how he does that, but
He goes for Asia? Wow.
yeah, Asia and Europe. Yeah, he's pretty daring and whatnot, but he ends up doing pretty good.
Interesting.
For sure, for sure. But yeah, like you said, I like the ones where you don't have to guard very much or whatnot. But yeah, have you played? So you said you played the King of Thrones. Any other risks you've played? Have you played the Legacy risk or whatnot?
I have not.
Oh, okay, cool. So Game of Thrones risk, did that look any different, or did it just have the theme of the television show or books or whatever it was?
Yeah, it's just themed. Like the continents are different. The islands are more accessible, so it's just different land and a little bit different gameplay.
Well, that's pretty cool. Now, Zach, per se, somebody's fallen asleep, it wouldn't be because of you or listening to find out about the cool game that Swerve, the connection strategy game is. It'd probably be because of me and my podcast. At the time of this recording, it's the 19th of April, and as of this morning, I had 60 episodes up, and by the end of this weekend it'd probably be about 63 or so, 63 or 64 episodes. So they get a little tired of hearing me drone on and on, listening, talking to creators or talking about board games or whatnot. They get tired of my voice. So it wouldn't be because of your game, but suddenly they're jolted awake so they don't hit the oncoming traffic. Why should they take a chance on Swerve, the connection strategy game, especially with all the other great games that are out there on Kickstarter currently, Zach?
Why should they take a stab at this? I think it's one of the simplest games out there. It takes a minute to learn or less, and there's just so many different strategies that you can use, and every game is different. That's what I like about it a lot. Depending on the cards you get at the beginning of the game, you have to use a different strategy. So you can't just do the same strategy over and over. It's really anybody's game, and yeah, it's just a lot of fun. It makes your brain think in ways that it hasn't before because you got to think 3, 4, 5 steps ahead.
Cool. You might like I don't know if you've heard of it. I don't know how people say Onitama. Have you heard of that game?
No, I haven't heard of it.
It's kind of like chess, but it has different cards you play with. The moves kind of, it's similar to this in a sense, but not trying to get all of the pieces across the board or whatnot. But each you have like different cards to choose from, and then play your strategy that way. So it kind of, in a sense, it reminds me of that and Chinese checkers. But I really like the part where you have to keep them all connected. That makes you have to think.
Yeah, for sure.
Cool. So if somebody wants to go ahead and give Swerve the connection strategy game a chance and try to help it get backed and also pick up a copy of the game. What's that going to set him back, Zach?
Oh, just $30. Again, like one of my missions, one thing that drives me is to create the most smiles possible, is what I say. It just feels great when you can make other people smile. So we do have the option where you can buy one and give one. So that's just $60, so you buy one for yourself, and then at the end of the year, we give one to a family in need, just trying to, create the most smiles. And
Well, that's pretty cool. And I know you don't want to overpromise and underdeliver, but so if they back this by the 13th of May and it's successful in its funding, when would they anticipate getting their games?
yeah, I'm hoping by August, September. It shouldn't be too long. But you never know with the unexpected delays with manufacturing and shipping. So
For sure, for sure. So yeah, and we'll go ahead and leave links in the show notes so everybody listening can go ahead and back this game, or at least check it out and see what kind of strategy they might use if they tried to play Swerve, the board game or the connection strategy game. And definitely check out that. Click the link and see what it looks like. So you can check it out. And like Alan Girding says over on his Tuesday Night Game podcast, even just going ahead and pledging $1 still helps out tremendously, because Kickstarter is kind of like a social network, or kind of like Facebook or Twitter or whatnot, because anybody following you, even if you back for just $1, they will go ahead and see, and it'll come up in their feed or whatnot, and they can say, hey, such and such just back Swerve the connection strategy game. I should go check that out. And then it drives more traffic this way. So even if you can just help out for $1, or even if you can just go ahead and if you don't have any money and you want to go ahead and click their share links on it, you can share it via email, Twitter, Facebook. Yeah, so you can go ahead and do that. And if you don't have the money, but you're worried about charging your card, it won't charge. I don't know. Probably imagine everybody listening knows how Kickstarter works, but if you've never backed a project and you're interested in this one, you have through the 13th of May, and nothing will be charged to your card until that time, and only if it's successful. Just so you guys are aware, if anybody's listening to this and hasn't used Kickstarter before. So thought I'd point that out.
anything helps. And
why did you pick Kickstarter as a venue to launch this game?
Just doing some research. It seems like board games are very popular on Kickstarter. So I thought I'd give it a go. It seems like I think it's the second or third most backed thing on Kickstarter behind technology, and so that's why I decided to do.
For sure, cool, awesome. Yeah, so make sure you go ahead and check that link out, and anything helps. Now, I don't know if you've gotten a chance to listen to any of our podcasts or not, Zach. If not, that's okay. But the next portion of the podcast is called Adventures in Application Acquisition, where we talk about an app, be it for a tablet, or a phone, a computer, or even a video game. It doesn't even necessarily have to be related to strategy games or board games for that matter. It could be anything as simple as a budget app, or anything, just something you use a lot of. Is there an app you use a lot of, Zach, that we can talk about for a moment?
An app that I use a lot of. Let's see. I use actually. It's not really an app, but it's called Keep. It's just like the notes on your phone. It's where I keep all of my crazy inventions, ideas, toys, and games and whatnot. So I'm in there every day.
It's called Keep?
Yeah, I think it's called Keep or something. It kind of came. It's one of the apps that kind of came with my phone, my Google Pixel. So yeah, that's where I write all my ideas down. And
okay, so it's like a notes app. So if you own the rights to Keep or the notes app on a phone, what would be one thing you would do to make it better or fix it, Zach?
Make it better. Let's see. How could I make a notes app better? That's a good question, man. I'm not really sure. I'm lost in that one.
Oh, that's okay. I was recently introduced to. It's kind of like a notes app. It's not the one that comes with the phone, but it's called Drafts. My wife, it's DRAFTS, because my wife gives me a hard time, because when I say that, it also sounds like the animal, the giraffe, and so she gives me a little bit of hard time. But I think it's a paid app. It costs about $4.99, but what I like about it is, like, if I'm listening to a podcast or an audiobook and I want to take notes, I can just go ahead and click the microphone and it'll allow me to record my notes on there. And then after I go off of the microphone or stop recording or whatnot, it'll go back into whatever I was listening to or whatnot. So that's something I've recently discovered, and I'm able to go ahead and listen to books or whatnot, and go ahead and keep notes that way. I really like it.
That's interesting. Yeah, that's a good idea.
But yeah, it is a paid app, but I really like it. I heard about it on Cliff Ravenscraft's podcast. He used to be known as the Podcast Answer Man, but I really like that application. I've started using that most recently, but it is a paid app. But yeah, I think it's really cool. So yeah, so that's awesome. So Minus coming there to your hometown, Zach. We don't want to keep you all night, but Minus coming to your hometown to stalk you. How will people go about finding out about you or different games you have going on, or especially about Swerve, the connection strategy game?
Like what website?
Yeah, like their websites or whatnot, so they don't have to come to your hometown to stalk you.
Yeah, so along with Swerve, I kind of launched a kind of like a brand or a company that I want to keep on making toys and games on. It's called 00 Games. So you can head on to 00games.com and yeah, I'll be posting updates. New games, new toys will come soon enough. Once I'm all good with Swerve, and then
okay. So I know you're working on Swerve. I know that's your focus, but what can you share any dirt with us for upcoming projects? Or
yeah, I got a lot of different toys. I work on like I try to focus on one at once, one at a time, but it's hard. So I'm working on a bunch of different little projects. I don't want to share too much, but there's a lot of like little desktop, little like sport games kind of thing, just to keep it moving. I was really big with the fidget spinner and the fidget cube, so a lot of little things like that I like to make. So stuff like that will be out soon.
okay, so and we want to make sure we go and watch. What did you call it? 00.com?
00games.com. Yes, sir.
Yeah, don't forget that game, 00games.com. And yeah, so that's awesome. And we'll make sure that we go ahead and leave everything in the show notes so they can go ahead and check out this great game, and yeah, go ahead and share it with their friends or whatnot. So that's awesome. And going back to what you said, the buy one get one or whatnot, early bird, to be able to donate one to a family in need. How do they go about doing that? Like if they do choose that option, do you pick the family? Do they pick the family, or how does that go down?
Yeah, so I was going to pick the family. I was going to look at a bunch of different community events. I was going to look at Toys for Tots and kind of just go from there. And it was more of a test to see if that would actually work for a board game, because I know like Tom's Shoes and like Bombas Socks, a bunch of different businesses have used it successfully. So it's more of a test to see if it would actually work. But yeah, I'm currently looking into a bunch of different options for that.
Okay, that's awesome. So yeah, even if you don't necessarily want 2 copies, you won't be getting 2 copies. You would be able to donate one to a family in need, so Zach can bring smiles to their face with this game. So definitely check that out as well. But yeah, we don't want, like I said, we don't want to keep you all night, Zach, but we really appreciate you coming on, getting geeky with Game Relief. We really appreciate it, Zach.
Yes, thank you, Game Relief. Thanks for reaching out, and it's been a pleasure.
No problem.
It's time for Kickstarter Corner. To begin now.
Getting geeky with Gamer Leaf. Hi, I'm Little Leaf, Gamer Leaf, and Kickstarter Corner, and Bunny Kickstarter Corner.
Yeah, she brought her stuffed bunny with us, and her stuffed bunny does what? What does it do all over the place?
Invisipoop.
Invisipoop? You ever heard of that? What does it say loud?
Invisipoop!
Yeah, it Invisipoops. It almost Invisipoopped in my pocket.
Yeah, it pooped in his pocket.
But not quite. My pants didn't fall down, so either Invisipoop is very light, or it didn't really Invisipoop. I hope it really didn't Invisipoop.
It did.
It did. So Invisipoop is light. So if you have kids and they have stuffed animals and they Invisipoop all over the place, be careful for that. But now Kickstarter Corner, like we said.
It's bunny time. Hop, 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 hop.
Careful, the bunny's hopping all over the microphone. So I better get on with the games. Mobster Metropolis. Create your syndicate, rise to power, invest in turfs and recruits, or conduct drive-bys in order to become the most powerful gangster boss in this 2 to 4 player strategy game, going for about probably in between 60 and 48 hours by the time you hear this, ending the 26th of April. Definitely check that one out. What do you got?
I got a stuffed bunny that's hopping all over the microphone.
Hence my need to speed through this Kickstarter Corner for sure. We've got Dobbers Quest for the Key. Dobbers Quest for the Key is more than a deck building game. It's an epic encounter building adventure board game for 2 to 4 players from Daryl Jones and Spattered Ink.
Someone's on the microphone. It's a bunny.
I'm being hijacked by a bunny. I hope if my voice starts to stink and you don't like the episode, it is due to Invisipoop being on the microphone. But anyways, we got that game and it's going through the 18th of May. Definitely check that one out. And then we've got No Escape. No Escape is a competitive maze building game. Maze building. Take that game for 2 to 8 players. And this is by Games. We interviewed the creator of this, and it's got 23 days to go, going through Thursday, the 17th of May.
A bunny wants to Invisipoop on the microphone, and it's doing it.
Yeah, so if you get Invisipoop coming through your car speakers or your phone radio, it is not the fault of this podcast or anybody. It was one of our guests, Little Leaf, who brought her toy bunny. But anyways, completely on the opposite side of being gross and disgusting or cute and adorable is Terminator Genisys, Rise of the Resistance, a cooperative 1 to 4 player action adventure game featuring an original campaign set in 2029 Terminator universe. Let's go back and bring Arnold back to the board games. Yes, sirree, Bob. And then, what's that?
A bunny is hopping all over the microphone and pooping on it.
Oh, this stinks, people. But anyway, something that doesn't stink is Arena the Contest, tabletop miniature board game. Go back and listen. We just barely previewed this game. It's a fantasy tact. What? Barbarian Leaf played it with me.
Barbarian Leaf on this bunny.
No, the bunny came from Wizard Leaf. So Wizard Leaf's to blame. But anyway, something that doesn't stink is Arena the Contest, tabletop miniature board game. Go back and listen. Me and Barbarian Leaf just barely previewed it. It's a fantasy tactical combat miniature tabletop for 1 to 8 players with a cooperative dungeon crawler and player versus player team competition. They're over 1,000% funded, and by the time you hear this, it's got to be less than 70 hours, in between 70 and 48 hours. So definitely check this one out. It is worth backing.
A bunny wants to eat the microphone.
Oh, I better hurry. The bunny's going to start eating the microphone, and then you won't get any more episodes from Getting Geeky with Gamer Leaf.
It ate it a little.
Okay, so there's little pieces of my microphone cutting out on me, so if you get any cutting out sounds or little girl sounds, that's the bunny.
And it also ate Dad.
And if I disappear suddenly, you'll know the bunny ate me and Invisipoop me out if I come back to life. So anyways, election night, learn your way to the White House. It's a game night hit that teaches math, geography, and the civics of electoral college. Watch how much fun these kids have by going to the Kickstarter video. Definitely check this out. They got 25 days to go, ending on the 18th of May. Definitely check that one out. It is awesome. And I had Jim on that podcast episode and interviewed him just recently. So go back and listen to that. And then let's see, what else do we got next? We've got an Atlas of the Horizons RPG. It's a tabletop role-playing game of daring adventure focusing on unique characters, optimistic themes, and fantastic stories. They got 19 days to go, going through Saturday the 12th of May. Definitely check that one out. And this one, it's been, what's that?
A bunny ate the microphone.
A bunny keeps eating the microphone, but we're going to get through this, whether we're dead or the microphone is in pieces, whatever you got to do.
And it also ate it again.
Okay, so I better hurry, people. Small Star Empire, 2nd edition, and 2 expansions. They've been going for a little while. They've been going for a little while. They're way overfunded. They were going for about $10,746, and they're at $36,876. They got about 17 days to go, going through the 11th of May. But definitely check this one out. You build battle stations to gain power and play unique abilities, and build research stations to gain minerals and research technologies. Definitely check this one out. They have also got a solo mode, stretch goal, revealed. So let's help unlock that solo mode of play. Definitely check this one out on the Kickstarter. We'll leave all the links in the show notes. Now, this is one that I think Little Leaf will like. So I'm not going to let her bunny come anywhere near the microphone. I want you to check out this and tell us what you think. Okay, Little Leaf?
It ate it again.
Uh-oh, we better hurry. So before the bunny comes, Little Leaf, can you look at the pictures and tell me what you think about this one? Look at the pictures.
I think it's cute.
It's cute. Do you like it? No, look at the pictures.
And the bunny is eating it.
Uh-oh, well, before he's eating it, can you tell me what one your favorite is? What's your favorite picture? Point to it and I'll tell him what it is. She likes Wee Medusa. Uh-oh, Wee Medusa. And what you want to know about this is Wee Beasties, Pretend Time RPG themed children's books for people like Little Leaf, huh?
And the bunny is still eating it.
The bunny's going to town, so it's a fantasy role-playing game themed children's book that features adorable creatures, whimsical rhymes, and beautiful illustrations. They're so very close to their goal at the time of this recording. They've got $55 to go, 9 days to go.
And it's still eating it.
This bunny is going to be burping microphone sounds and podcasts all over the place. I tell you what. Last but not least, and we still have a microphone, people, we still have equipment. We'll need help getting equipment, especially if this bunny is going to keep on eating the microphone. But the exorcism at the House of Moncton Falls. Definitely check this one out on the Kickstarters. It's a 2 to 4 player, 60-minute game, ages 11 plus. It's a cooperative worker movement set collecting game themed around the exorcism of ghosts taking up residence in haunted houses. Players take turns exploring the manor, searching for tools, unlocking hidden rooms, and using tools to complete a variety of tasks.
And the bunnies keep eating it.
Okay, well, this is Gamer Leaf. I'm dying because the bunny can't stop eating the microphone, or me. If you get a bunch of farting sounds, that's due to the bunny. But anyways, let's go ahead and sign off. Can you sign us off?
Let it go in the summer. It's a let it go time in the summer.
Well, it sounds like Little Leaf's ready for summer. I'm ready for summer. You're ready for summer. So go ahead and get geeky, stay geeky, and bring others into Geek Fold, and we'll catch y'all on the...
And also, it's not the Kickstarter.
Yeah, and not the Kickstarter. This is Gamer Leaf. So go ahead and catch y'all on the flip side. I gotta hurry. The bunny's making her say weird things. I'm being attacked by a bunny. Get me out of here. Bye.
Game over. Tune in next week to see if Gamer Leaf and Dreams are respawned.